My name's Michael Gould. I work as an actor in theatre, television and film. I recently played Polonius in Hamlet, and I often work at the National Theatre, the Royal Shakespeare Company, and I also teach at the Globe Theatre in London. As a young man, I watched the great method actors like Al Pacino and Robert De Niro. Then I went on to train as an actor at the Academy of Live and Recorded Arts, where they taught me the basic techniques of acting, like voice and movement. I then watched some actors at the Royal Shakespeare Company, and what impressed me most about them was their ability to transform themselves completely from one role to another. And then some years later, I was lucky enough to work there myself. The popular perception is that a method actor immerses himself so completely in a role that he loses all sense of himself. The reality, in my view, is that method acting is more of a process by which an actor can use his own life experiences in order to create a character in a situation. I really admire Daniel Day-Lewis. I remember seeing him in a film called My Beautiful Laundrette when I was a younger man, and I found his performance completely compelling. I totally believed in the character he was playing. He has done it again recently in a film called There Will Be Blood, and I gather that he has to take rest breaks between each project because he commits himself so fully to the parts. I remember reading about him recently saying, "I have no problem in believing I'm somebody else," which is quite an interesting thing for any actor to say. I've not been trained in the method, but I have found over the years that I've used the techniques of the method school of acting. I don't think I'm a method actor because I don't transform myself into the character, but I want the audience to believe that I have. Katie Mitchell is a director that I've worked with for many years now, and one of the techniques she uses, which is borrowed from the method school of acting, is improvisation. Now, she uses it in two ways. One is to help us build the character prior to the events of the play. And the second way she uses it is between the scenes that the audience will eventually watch, so that we know what has happened between each scene and we can bring that on to the stage when the audience are watching it. One piece of preparation I always do is establish a timeline for the character. So, for example, if the play is set in 1950 and I'm playing a character who is 50 years old and it's set in London, I would research that time and that place in order to establish what the character has been through. I once played a very famous character called Iago in Shakespeare's play Othello. And I noticed that his very first line suggested that he had killed as part of a war. And that inspired me to look at post-traumatic stress syndrome, the experiences of war veterans, and I also talked with psychiatrists who helped me get an insight into that kind of experience. I'd love to work with the British film director Mike Leigh, who works very closely with actors, building stories through the actor's imagination, through improvisation. And everything I've seen of his I found completely compelling.